Today, we are going to be learning about reproduction in plants. Living things make young ones like themselves. Most mammals give birth to babies. Reptiles and birds lay eggs. Plants are also living things. They reproduce like other living things. Let us learn more about how plants produce young ones. Reproduction in plants. Plants reproduce young ones like themselves. This process is called reproduction. In other words, plants reproduce young ones just like themselves. Plants reproduce in two ways: reproduction through seeds and reproduction through different body parts. Reproduction through seeds. Most fruits and vegetables have seeds in them. New plants grow when we sow these seeds in soil. Let us do an activity to understand the structure of a seed. Activity. Aim to remove the seed coat and observe the structure inside a seed. Materials required: some kidney beans, water, and a plant. Procedure. Soak some kidney beans or rajma in water overnight. Step 2. In the morning, you will notice that the seeds have absorbed the water and become swollen. Step 3. Remove the outer covering of the seed. This outer covering of the seed is called the seed coat. Let us learn more about the structure inside the seed. Did you know that the seed contains food material for the growth of the plant and is covered by a protective layer called the seed coat? Structure of a seed. The seed coat protects the seed and the baby plant growing inside it. The structure inside a seed coat is in two equal parts. Each part is called a cotyledon or a seed leaf. The seed leaves store food for the developing baby plant. The baby plant is called an embryo. Peas, pulses, and beans have two cotyledons, whereas maize, rice, and wheat have one cotyledon. All seeds cannot grow into new plants. Some seeds get lost in harsh weather conditions like strong winds and rain. Some seeds get eaten by birds and animals. Seeds need sufficient amount of water, warmth, light, and air to grow into a new plant. The process by which a new plant grows from a seed is called germination. The seeds we sow in soil get warmth, air, and water. Seed coat breaks and a baby plant emerges. It grows small roots. The roots grow further and a small shoot develops. The roots and shoots grow in size and the cotyledon shrinks. Scattering of seeds. People plant some seeds, but most plants do not rely on people. They rely on water, wind, and insects to scatter their seeds. If seeds fell and grew under a parent plant, the plant would struggle for space, light, water, and nutrients. So, it is necessary that the seed gets scattered to find the suitable conditions to grow. Scattering by birds and animals. Birds and animals scatter seeds in some ways. Some plants have juicy fruits that animals eat, but only the juicy part is digested. The seeds and pips pass through the digestive system and to the excretory system to grow into a new plant. This is usually away from the parent plant. Blackberry, cherry, and apple seeds get dispersed through this way. Birds also eat fruits and help disperse seeds through their droppings. Mistletoe has sticky fruits that are attractive to birds. The sticky seeds get stuck on the bird's beak. They then run their beaks on the barks of other trees. The sticky seeds are left on the bark to grow into new mistletoe plants. Mistletoe is a parasitic plant. Squirrels collect nuts and bury them for winter, but they often forget where they buried them, and the nuts grow into new plants. Did you know that seeds can be transported on the outside of vertebrate animals, mostly mammals? This process is called as epizoochory, scattering by wind. The seeds that are scattered by wind are very small and have structures like wings or hair or feathers. These seeds are very light. The seeds of orchids are as fine as dust. Any hairy growth on the seeds acts like a parachute and carries the seed away from the parent plant. The seeds of a dandelion are carried by wind. The seeds of a thistle are also carried by wind. Both the thistle and the dandelion have hairy growths at the top that carry them away from the parent plant. Scattering by water. Aquatic plants and plants that live near water have seeds that can float, and these are carried by water. Plants living near streams and rivers have seeds that can float down the streams and therefore germinate at new places. The size of the seed is not a factor in determining whether it can float. Some very large seeds, like the coconut seed, can float in water. Some very small seeds can also float. Scattering by explosion. Some plants have pods that explode when ripe and shoot out the seeds. Lupine, gorse, and broom disperse their seeds in this way. Pea and bean plants also keep their seeds in a pod. When the seed is ripe and the pod is dry, the pod bursts open and therefore the seeds get scattered. Scattering by fire. Plants cannot run away from fire. So, some plants have developed a way to help their seeds to survive. There are some pine trees that require the heat from fire before their cones open and release the seeds. Banksia, eucalyptus, and other Australian plants also rely on dispersal of their seeds. Vegetative reproduction. Many plants do not produce seeds. A new plant grows from a vegetative part, for example, the root, stem, or leaf. This is called as vegetative reproduction or asexual reproduction. The resulting plant is usually a clone or looks like the parent plant. We use different natural and artificial methods to produce a new plant from the stem. From underground stems. Stems that grow below the ground are called underground stems. Potato, ginger, and onion are underground stems. They have small buds. In a potato, this bud is called an eye. A piece of the stem with an eye can grow into a new plant. Stem cutting. In plants like rose, bougainvillea, and money plant, a part of the stem containing the bud is cut and planted in the soil. This method is called as stem cutting. The stem cutting planted in the soil develops roots and grows into a new plant. Grafting. In plants like rose, mango, and apple, a portion of their shoot is cut and attached to the shoot of other plants. The part of the stem that is cut is called the scion, and the part where the stem is attached to is called the stalk. This method is called grafting. Layering. In plants like jasmine and raspberry, the branch is bent until it touches the ground. A portion of it is covered with soil, leaving the growing tip exposed. The portion covered with soil develops roots after some days. Then it is cut from the parent plant. This method is called layering. Runners. Plants like strawberry have horizontal stems that grow near the ground. These are called runners. They form roots at regular intervals and produce new plants. Reproduction through roots. Roots of plants like sweet potato, carrot, and beetroot store food. These roots have small buds on them from which new plants grow. A piece of the root is cut with the bud and planted in the soil. Under suitable conditions, this bud grows roots and shoots to become a new plant. Reproduction through leaves. The bryophyllum plant is also known as the air plant or the mother of thousands. It can grow new plants from its leaves. In these plants, new plantlets grow from the well-developed leaves while the leaves are still attached to the plant. After the plantlets develop, they drop off. They grow into new plants when they fall on moist soil. Reproduction from spores. Plants that do not have flowers are called non-flowering plants. So, they reproduce from spores. Ferns and horsetails are non-flowering plants. Horsetails grow as weeds in gardens and fields. Ferns have leaves that have breathing pores on the underside. They also have small pods on the undersurface of the leaves. These pods are called sori. The sori protects the cell cases from the weather. Inside the cases, the protoplasm divides into many tiny cells and each cell becomes a spore.
As the weather becomes warm, the case dries and ripens. The spores spurt from the case and are carried away in the air to grow into new plants. How were the tea leaves found? The tea leaves were found in ancient China 5,000 years ago.
According to legend, the Shen Nong, an early emperor, was a skilled ruler, a creative scientist, and a patron of arts. His far-sighted edicts required that people should boil water before drinking it. One summer day, while visiting a distant region of his kingdom, he and the court stopped to rest. In accordance to his ruling, the servants began boiling water for the court to drink. Dried leaves from a nearby bush fell into the boiling water and the water turned brown. As a scientist, the emperor was interested in the new liquid. He drank it and found it very refreshing. In this manner, tea was created. Did you know that drinking a lot of tea may cause headache, nervousness, sleep problems, ringing in ears, confusion, vomiting, etc.? Tea drinking habit in India. The habit of drinking tea in India has evolved in different ways and it differs from region to region. First, it was the drink of the royals, but now it is the favorite drink of the common man. India leads the world in tea consumption. From the humble roadside tea stalls and railway platforms to the boardrooms of big offices, tea is easily available. The cup of sweet and refreshing chai available in tea shops to the masala chai available in North India, the variety of tea is numerous. As per the history of tea in India, the locals make and drink tea with the leaves of wild native tea plants. Since that time, different varieties of tea have come up. The most famous is the Darjeeling tea. The commercial production of tea in India was started by the British East India Company, and vast tracts of land were developed into tea estates to produce different kinds of teas. The first tea garden was established by the British East India Company by the end of 19th century. The company took over the tea cultivation in Assam and in northeastern parts of India. Here is a quick sum up for the chapter. Reproduction is the process by which plants reproduce young ones like themselves. A flower is the reproductive organ of a plant. Seeds need the right amount of light, warmth, and sunlight to grow into a new plant. Many plants do not produce seeds. They grow through vegetative reproduction. Non-flowering plants grow from spores and not seeds. Here's the glossary. Reproduction, the action of copying something. Embryo is the part of the seed which grows into a plant. Germination is the process by which a plant grows from the seed. Rely is to depend, scattering, dispersed amount of something. Thistle is a widely distributed plant. Explosion, blowing apart of something. Pods, splitting open on both sides when ripe. Here's the mind map for you. Reproduction. Reproduction through seeds, reproduction through spores, and reproduction through roots. Scattering of seeds is of 5 types. Scattering by wind, scattering by water, scattering by birds, scattering by fire, scattering by explosion. We also learned the discovery of tea leaves.